Gasoline consumption in the United States has been increasing steadily. Consumption data from 1992 to 2004 is shown in this table. Find a model for this data and use it to predict consumption in 2016. If the trend continues, when will consumption reach 200 billion gallons? In this table, we see our years and we have the consumption in billions of gallons. Notice that our difference from year to year is not a constant number. Okay? From 92 to 93, we have an increase of 1 billion. From 93 to 94, we have 2. Okay? And so forth. It changes. Okay? And it's not following any particular pattern. And so what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of pick a number that we think is going to best model this data if we want to use a linear model. So what we're going to do is use our first year and our last year that we have data, and we're going to get the rate for that. So what we're going to do is use our explicit formula for linear growth. P sub n is equal to P naught plus D times n. If I use my initial year as 1992, then I have 110 billion gallons consumption, plus the D I don't know, and n is the number of years that passes from 92 through 2004. That is 12 years. Okay? And that's supposed to equal 136. So this will allow us to come up with a D value that might be a good estimate for our average change from year to year. If I subtract 110 from both sides, I get 26 equals 12 times D. Now dividing both sides by 12, we get 26 over 12 equals D. Of course, we can simplify that, and we get D equals 13 over 6. Now this is, of course, not the true difference each year, but it seems that on average that is the change from year to year. So now we're going to use it to predict consumption in 2016. In 2016, if our starting year is 1992, 2016 is 24 years later. So that's going to be P sub 24. P naught is 110, the amount that we're starting with, plus D is 13 over 6, times N, which is 24. Now we can simplify this. 24 divided by 6 is 4, and 4 times 13 is 52. So this is plus 52. That gives us a consumption of 162 billion gallons of consumption in the year 2016. And of course, this is an estimate. If our trend continues, we'd like to find out when consumption would reach 200 billion gallons. So now we're going to go back to this formula that we have, and we want it to end up as 200 equals P naught, which was 110, plus D, 13 over 6, times N. And we don't know what N is. We'd like to know what that is. So now we can solve for N. Subtracting 110 from both sides, we have 90 equals 13 over 6 times N. Multiplying both sides by 6 over 13, we'll cancel that fraction on the right side, and now we just need to multiply this. Plugging this into our calculator gives us an approximate 41.54 for N. Now, remember N represents the number of years since 1992, our start year. If we'd like to know the year, we take that 1992 and we can add the 41.54 to it. And this, of course, is not going to give us an exact whole number. Okay? It gives us about 2033 and then 0.54. So this tells us that probably somewhere in the middle of the year 2033, we would end up with our consumption of 200 billion gallons.